Did you
Yes.
seriously forget to go live before putting the damn countdown?
No, she went live at 15, okay? She went halfway through. So that way she could say, "Oh, we're halfway there." Whoa,
Exactly.
living on a prayer.
God.
That's what she wanted to say, but guess what? I said it. So, oh well, that's the opening moments of the show. So, welcome everybody to what I like to call the CZW Deep Dive. And you may be asking yourself, what are we doing with the CZW show? Funny story. If you don't, my little friends and I, well, there's a little sect of us that like death matches.
Mhm.
But there's a certain group that's not ECW that has a 50-50 rep in the wrestling world. So, what happens when you give wrestling connoisseurs an account on czwstudios.com? Well,
Fuck
you're
you, by
about
the way,
to find
Lee.
out. He found out that Masada is Deathmatch Jesus.
No. I found out how much I love ZZW, so you got me into it now, you dick.
You can thank me.
I love you for it, but I hate you for it at the same time now.
Okay, just yes. You will understand why when we get to talking about today's topic, the first episode, and it's probably one of the most infamous things that CZW is widely known for, and something that they are infamous for, is the Tournament of Death. Now, to explain this, I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory. The Tournament of Death was a storyline to where it was leading into it was a storyline leading into it where Zandig was going to lose the company. So Zandig thought, oh, well, we're just going to host this Tournament of Death. It literally meant like the Tournament of the Death of CZW to crown the Deathmatch champion. Well, guess what? The company didn't die at that tournament. The company lived on. And now the Tournament of Death has been a staple in deathmatch wrestling.
It lives on to this day, too.
Already, this is why it is controversial and has 50-50 opinions, because really there's DJ Hyde and then there is John Zandig. John Zandig is hailed by people like Mr. Parker here as the savior and the so-called Jesus of CZW. I will not disagree, and then a lot of people don't like DJ Hyde.
Oh,
For
I love the
very-
DJ Hyde character, actually.
see, Parker, you want to tear into him? You can. I mean, it's really quite simple. But
Parker,
you know what?
I will disagree with you on that. I love a good heel. I love a good heel. And DJ Hyde, every time he comes out and holds that mic as the owner of the group of the ZZW and basically teases the fans, that's what gets me on as a connoisseur and a fan. Either way you want to put it on the line of the two sides.
Exactly.
Where you say, do you want him to face this guy against this guy in a death match? Well, too bad. Fuck you guys.
That's great. And I will say it. And I'll explain it to anybody who's here watching that's new to the Tournament of Death. The Tournament of Death is simple. The roughest, toughest SOBs in the deathmatch game or in CZW congregate to Delaware, to New Jersey, so that way they can compete in a grueling one-day tournament. And this ain't a single like a one-on-one tournament. No. There is not a single regular match happening on this card. No, my dears. Every match is ultra violent. every match is a death.
Oh yes.
match.
Hang on. Now there's a couple matches that weren't ultra violent, but yeah, they're all ultra violent.
But tournament matches, I'm
well,
saying.
yeah, tournament, yeah.
Yes, obviously there's not all the matches that are not tournament.
I thought that's where you're going with it. My bad.
No, I'm meaning just strictly.
Oh yeah,
I'm
the
talking about
tournament
the
matches
tournament.
were fucking sickening as hell, and I loved it.
And I will say it. And Tyler watched the 2007 our topic today. He watched it, and you could. And if everybody who's here watching knows how a tournament of death goes, you win one match, you go on to the semifinals, and when you go on to the semifinals, well, guess what? There is a whole new ball game there waiting for you. I'll be right back.
He wants food, of course. Really?
Have him come in if he wants to come in.
All right.
No one's stopping him from coming in. Anyone can join.
I'm just making sure.
This is a friendship type of podcast. Come on now.
I'm just making sure.
You don't need to make sure.
Yeah.
What's
Hi,
up?
Chris.
Hello, boys and girls.
What's up?
14 more days.
Till you're out of Facebook jail?
Yeah.
Shit, I got pulled double duty for two people that got put in Facebook jail. One of them was Devin, and the other one's my other buddy, Seth. So I got pulled double duty by posting for them on my page.
I got put in Facebook jail for bullying myself.
Whoa. Wait a minute. We'll get back to the ZZW in a second there, Lane. You got in jail for making fun of yourself?
No, hold on. Facebook's reason was I got put in Facebook jail for 30 days for bullying myself. The comment they flagged because of the group I'm in, because of the lifestyle I'm in, we were having a conversation about our lifestyles.
Yeah.
Somebody had made a comment about interactions, different interactions. And, and so I made and they had made the comment about how it felt a specific way. And I said, no, I said, I totally understand that. I've been called these things. Like, I was called a pig. I've been called sexist. I've been called a man whore. I've been called lots of names. People have called, like I specifically said, people have called me these. And I listed like 2 or 3 examples. I literally posted that quick. I couldn't even like or comment. I'm like, what happened? Facebook had banned it. I screenshotted it, sent it to the mods because that's what Facebook told me to do. The mods said they couldn't do anything. Apparently there's a Facebook Supreme Court now you can go through. And because I pleaded my case, and then it was like all these extra stuff where you can go and and I'm sitting here doing all this.
Cam.
And I'm sitting here going, and I'm in Facebook jail, like, for bullying myself. I've gone. I admit I've said some shit that I have deserved at Facebook jail. Like, typically, okay. This one takes the fucking cake.
It's just funny. That's why I said I had to stop for a second our regularly scheduled program to just answer this one. I knew you got Facebook jail, but I didn't know the reason why.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Lane Dan said hi.
Hi, old buddy. Oh, and hi, Pop. Okay.
Hello,
Just so
Lane.
everybody knows, in case I don't think anybody here in the in the wrestling community has never heard of a tournament of death, right?
The name sounds familiar, but I like to
I
know
heard
more.
Good. Let us take you to school then, my friend.
It
Simple
starts-
term is simple. We are going to introduce you to the ways of the death match.
Hold on. Chris Chaos is doing the
Wait a
timeout
minute.
thing now.
Wait a minute. He wants to.
What is
No,
it?
no. You said you're going to take us to school. Give me 60 seconds, please.
Oh God! What is that again?
I'm scared. I'm scared.
56, 57, 55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42,
I got something better,
41,
Lane. I got something
40,
better.
39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31. I'm going to talk about CCW though real quick.
I got something better.
Oh God! Oh, there it is! Oh God! Chris!
What page? What page?
Page number 69, my friend.
Page 69?
I can't handle
How long have we been live for? Only 12 minutes, and I'm already fucking dying of laughter. Jesus Lord.
TJ, hi TJ.
Hi, TJ.
Everybody.
I know you're doing.
This is
Hi,
why
TJ.
I love
Wait,
Chris.
no.
This is why I love Chris.
While he is here, I got to say this. Son.
TJ, if you want to know what he's talking about, he's calling you Titan Junior because
No,
everyone
he
thinks
knows
that you
what I'm.
look
No,
just
he
like
will.
him.
No, watch. Wait for a second. The comment, Dad, will come up in the comments. I promise.
I'm ready to take notes.
No. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. This is the deep dive into CZW. This is during the John Zandig era. Hold it. Knew it. See, there we go. See, proud father here.
So I'm the mini-me. Does that make me TJ's the uncle of TJ? Because that then.
But still, back to the point at hand, though.
Anyway, when you look at it, I mean, actually, Titan's right. TJ actually does kind of look like you. So when you
Back
look
to the point
back
at
at
hand,
it,
though, real quick, guys. We're going to talk about this. Tournament of Death was during the John Zandig era. This Tournament of Death 2007. And why is it so significant if it's during the John Zandig era, the DJ Hyde era? Ask Justin Parker. He will gladly go on a 30-minute rant and tell you why. Or if you want to ask Juan Rivera, he will ask you why. Or ask any wrestling promoter or wrestling fan.
Rivera, Riveria.
Rivera.
Okay, thank you.
I love Chris. I love you, Chris.
So, just ask any wrestling connoisseur. That's what we call wrestling fans who aren't on the internet being toxic. That is the name that we give them on a podcast.
So Ruby,
it works because
Chris,
we like to watch
wrestling connoisseurs.
See, that's what I love
Toxic.
because we can
wrestling.
sit there and we can enjoy the product without being toxic or even like relating to anything outside of, what they call kayfabe. So we can sit back and enjoy it. So,
before I excuse you, something's about to go down between Morrison and Miz right now. I know one of those about to turn on winner. I can feel it. I can feel it right now. It's coming. It's coming. The look on Miz's face right now, he is pissed.
All right,
I mean, pissed is the way that he's gonna knock someone out pissed.
We're talking about a regular wrestling show, not WWE. This is that's not right. This is not a regular show. This is a boring ass.
Hey, Ruby.
Just
Ruby.
nothing to watch. Because I heard on Facebook just a little bit ago from someone else that they're changing Raw to 4 hours.
Hold on. Hey, Ruby.
I knew it. This is Morrison. There you go. Come on,
Ruby.
this is going on now.
Ruby.
Yeah.
See,
Four-term
Tony,
limit that doesn't
okay.
have the
No,
right
I want to.
thing.
No. Everybody, shut up. I want to ask the bunny. He knows what I'm talking about. Please explain to anybody new, if you are a CZW fan, why it is important that we are starting with the John Zandig era of CZW. If you know, you know. People say
Will it be really cool if he actually comes on this podcast right now?
Don't tempt the bunny, and I know he probably won't.
Well, he's waiting
So-
for the answer, Ruby. Here's the thing: we're actually talking about wrestling that fans love, not the place where fans go to die.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're not referring to the
Thank
place.
you, Chris.
We're not
This
referring to.
actually,
Tony.
yes,
We're
this
not
is one
referring
of
to the
them.
place
And
that
here's the thing, though.
fans go to hate wrestling.
And here's the one thing I like. And I'll say this: whenever Zandig comes on a camera, Zandig has an intensity about him that makes you realize, oh, something's going down.
Yes,
Yes.
I agree with you on that one,
Thank
Tony.
you. Thank you. He captured it all in that one statement. If you know what Tony's talking about, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There is like-
I get it.
So and then when DJ Hyde, the other man we're going to talk about here, he is the other side of this coin. He is the side of the coin that everybody hates. He is the ass of the
He's
Brodo.
okay, I'll say this. I've been watching ZZW all day today. All day.
And wrestling
Fuck you,
fans
Lane.
get triggered in this statement after he gets finished. Let it go. Continue.
I seen a bunch of spots where DJ Hyde has basically played the fans and said, "You want this guy going against this guy? Well, too bad, it's not happening." That's why I think he's the hated side of the coin. My opinion. Which
Okay.
is probably not the truth. Not what you're thinking, Lane.
Oh, there's several reasons I'm thinking of. Was most hated reasons because
that is my reason. That's my reason because
Most
he
hated
plays
reason-
the fans to have a match that he wants. He plays as a face for like a good 5 minutes, and then
Probably.
goes to say, "Well, too bad, it's not happening. I run this place. You guys have to listen to me now."
Well, here's what happens. Some fans didn't like the fact that he turned down the violence. You keep that in your head. These fans were like ECW fans. And ask Tony, ask anybody that's watching that has watched and or been to a CZW show. They will tell you it is like they are like a cult, and it is an amazing thing to be at a tournament of death. It is a different experience. From what I hear, it's another worldly experience because you are there. You are not sitting in a wrestling arena or a stadium. You know, you aren't there where the confinements of a wall are there. You are where the action is. The barricades don't matter. The barricades are just a modern, like a little makeshift way for, like a little guidepost. I will tell you a great example, and Tyler knows exactly which match I'm talking about. We will get to it later. Brain Damage's match on this tournament of
Which
death.
one?
Brooke, pull it up.
Got it.
Which one though? There's like 3. of them.
It's his first round match.
Okay.
It is a Brain Damage match versus Toby Klein.
Yep.
Billy Graham, I will admit, looked like the wrestling version of Rob Zombie. The ultra-violent version of Rob Zombie. I know all you are going to hate me for it, but you know what? I said it. He was the first guy I thought of whenever I watched that. So here are the first round matchups that we saw, guys. I mean, look at that. Zandig lost to Necro Butcher. And you're probably thinking, what is the big deal about that? And look who DJ Hyde beat. He beat Madman Pondo. in that Shattered Dreams match, in case you don't know, that is a panes of glass match. Like, they had panes of glass. All of them, like, Tyler knows what I'm talking about. 3 corners of the ring had panes of glass standing in them like this. So, if you're watching, whenever you watch this, I'm not even lying. It was a little fun to watch, but the brain damage match was my favorite. Only because it had a story behind it. Because apparently, brain damage turned his back on Toby Klein and Billy Graham. So guess what? Toby Klein wanted to get revenge on him. But as you can see, that didn't really go his way now, did it?
Nope.
But I will say it. But let's start at the top here real quick, round 1. Danny Havoc versus Scotty Vortex. Anybody who is an ultraviolent fan, an ultraviolent mark, knows those 2 names. Oh, I agree, Tony. I mean, there are people who like the current CZW stuff. I like the stories that they tell. And I'm as a wrestling connoisseur, I will say it. I love it. Pondo, he outperformed DJ in that match in every way. And I'm not saying that because he got
beat. To be honest, I thought of this too, and I put this in my notes when we get to that. But I'll actually say here, I think Mondo and DJ Hyde would have been a perfect heel tag team.
Okay, that would have been perfect.
2 big monsters. 2 big monsters becoming tag team champions. Okay. And holding those and just shitting on the fans. Shitting on the people.
Just wait, people. I haven't introduced him to Ricky Shane Page yet.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Just wait, people. I still haven't introduced him to Ricky Shane Page or Matt Tremont. So.
Oh, I've seen Matt Tremont. Okay.
Then you will like the dynamic that he has with DJ Hyde.
Remember, I watched Cage of Death, where it was him versus Donnie Havoc.
Okay. That will lead into our first match.
About when we go to that, when we get to that card.
Yes, we will talk about that. Okay, Sick Nick Mondo. I will agree with that. Okay. But we're going to talk about Danny Havoc and Scotty Vortex. 2 names that every single ultraviolent person should know. Why? Because Danny Havoc is basically a legend. And at this point, okay, a little thing from the bunny. We didn't know. I mean, there's a little backstory to every Fed character. The bunny got inspired from Nick Mondo. Hey, we're getting inspired here, people. Only with this group will it ever happen. We get that back.
I agree with them 100%. Put up the one that says Danny Havoc. Yep, that one. I agree with you 100% there, Tony.
I will tell you, Danny was young. And I mean, you could tell he was probably what? No more than 19 years old?
At least in the beginning, yeah.
And like this is 2007, people. This is when Danny Havoc was 19, 20 years old doing death matches. When he could have been wrestling in bingo halls trying to make a name for himself. No. This man decided, I want to go be in a tournament of death.
Oh, no. He made his name. Okay, I'll say this. He made his name known.
No. Let me say that again for you people. This man is competing with 30, 40-year-old men in a tournament of death. These 30, 40-year-old men know that they have nothing to lose. Danny has no career ahead of him.
I did the math. He was 21 years old when he did it.
Who said that? Did the bunny?
No.
You did?
I did the math.
That is cool. I heard about that. They actually mentioned that in this specific pay-per-view. I think Zandig or somebody else did. Somebody mentioned it throughout the pay-per-view about XPW. But Danny Havoc, Scotty Vortex, Scotty would continue to be with the company after DJ took over. And Scotty would, and I mean, you could see it. And Tyler, you've watched some later on product. And I mean, you could see the stories go on down the road.
Yeah.
So I've heard. But it's like, but Danny Havoc, he's a legend in his own right in the wrestling world. Because this man, I mean, you look at, there's a difference in matches, and I will tell you, there's a difference in matches no matter which way you organize it. Danny, I think, took the most brutal beating of the first round besides brain damage and Insane Lane. I'm going to say that. I've gotten into his stuff. I mean, only because of the Tournament of Death, okay?
I'm kind of agreeing with Tony on that one. I mean, Scotty is good in the ring and death matches by far. But I can't get into his shit. Danny Havoc,
but I will say this,
DJ
though.
Hyde, Brain Damage, Drake Younger, Necro Butcher, all these guys that I've seen, I can get into.
I will say this. Scotty was a junior heavyweight champion at the time. So that means Scotty was under 200 pounds. So you had that man literally fighting these guys who are heavyweights. Heavyweights. In a tournament that is meant for ultra-violent heavyweights. Just putting that in your minds, folks. I mean, not just letting that be, but still, just saying. I mean, but still.
I realize you're eating pizza, aren't you, Titan? Screw you.
I got your kryptonite right here.
God dang it.
But still, guys. Okay.
I'm
I
curious.
understand that.
I'm curious to see audience's list of people thinking of that. I'm curious of that.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to see that. But in case for the new fans of CZW, literally,
including myself,
these matches were almost to the death.
Oh yeah, including for John Zandig's and Necro Butcher's match that we'll talk about later. I watched the ending where he was getting stitched up. Holy shit. We'll talk about that later.
Necro Butcher has a wide history of being one of the most violent men on the planet.
Oh, we'll talk about that when we get to that, because I don't even need to look at my notes. I still remember that. Let's just say I looked away half of it when I had to look away. We'll talk about that later.
I agree.
Well, we got a new show to watch. We'll see some crazy ultra violence.
And I do have a hookup. Thankfully, me and my crew have a hookup for anything Japanese wrestling related.
So there's a Japanese-based brand?
Oh, there is a lot of Japanese deathmatch. That's where the deathmatch actually originated.
Yeah.
I know that from Mick Foley and Terry Funk, they had the electrified deathmatch.
That's what it is. That is where it mainly came from.
Yeah.
American wrestlers wrestling over in Japan got inspired by this new hardcore stuff, so they went over there to check it out, and they got hooked on it.
Is that a Japanese wrestling, Tony?
It might be. I don't think it might be American. What is it, Tony?
It said it's the very first deathmatch company. So
yeah, we're trying to figure out if it's American.
I'm going to do some research on it.
I'll say, look that up for me, Tyler. But I will say it. like I said before, like 30 times already. Havoc defeating Vortex, that was given, but Vortex looked amazing throughout that
Tony
match.
just said Japanese.
See, there we go. So we know the origins of the death match, people. Great first step. We know that. So the death match is a Japanese thing. So there we go. That's a huge plus. And I mean, John Zandig, he originated from over in Japan. He made his name over in the Japanese hardcore wrestling scene. Then he came back home to America. Oh. Oh. Okay.
That's interesting. We'll have to talk to our little plug to see if we can get some Japanese wrestling going.
We'll have to.
Because I'm interested now to see FHW or FMW now.
But Danny
Even though
Havoc,
it's probably
Scotty
not English and I
Vortex.
can't understand it.
I'm gonna go ahead and go through with this real quick.
Yeah.
Vortex and Havoc. Danny going over Vortex was great decision. But as a fan, it was an amazing match. But Scotty looked great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the fact that he's a champion, but he's going up against Danny Havoc, a man who'd go on to be a champion that year. I do believe. I could be wrong though. But here's another one but we're moving on to a match I absolutely loved. Insane Lane versus Freak Show.
There was a bunch of good bumps in there, and I have those written down in my notes, too. There's a couple of good ones in there.
Oh, this is like that match there, Casey. I mean, I'm not even going to lie. Insane Lane and Freak Show, two big dudes. Insane Lane was tall. Freak Show was big.
To be honest, to me, Insane Lane looked like Eugene from WWE a little bit.
You said that.
They made Boo, this is the big one by Tony. The match saw a match with, I believe, with Jericho Lawler and someone else. And they were wrestling all over the arena. The Japanese wrestlers in attendance who I am beating myself up for not remembering this, who loved it so much he brought the idea to Japan, but he made it far more violent.
Oh. Is it Abdullah Kobayashi?
So basically, Jericho Lawler is the reason why we have deathmatch. In a way. Because he influenced someone to bring it to Japan. This show. Oh, he would look it up for us. Tony said he would look it up. Thank you, Onions.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Onions. Our
You're a lifesaver, Tony. No, but I know we did talk about this earlier in like a VC or before we started rolling on today's podcast. I thought he looked like Eugene.
The commentator people said he'd keep calling him Eugene.
The more I said it, the more I agreed with it.
Oh, here it is.
Oh.
And then at the ending, I'll talk about this too. It looked like...
Yes.
It looked like that skin was hanging off of one of them. I can't remember which one it was.
It was insane.
In that match. But it looked like skin was hanging off. That did not look like dry blood. That looked like skin hanging.
Wouldn't surprise me from that, because that match was insane. The way they had the matches, match.
Oh, poor Tony. He felt disappointed in himself.
Okay. So Onita was the originator of the death match. We know who to give it to now.
Hey.
But from what I'm thinking, with the way they had that match is they had light tubes taped onto a plastic wiffle ball bat. and that was basically one bat, and they had it, and they taped it into a square, guys, like a little brick, and the way Insane Lane and Freak Show used it, it was put on in between two chairs, and I don't remember who went through it. I don't know if it was Freak Show or
I don't remember
Insane.
either.
Oh, you're fine, Tony. Tony, you're fine.
You're good. We like talking.
We like talking to you. Also, our favorite evil pig buddy who runs the amusement park. So technically, we are researching our amusement history. Whatever the park.
Shit, if you know anything about death matches or anything about a wrestling topic we're talking about, butt in. Let us know.
Exactly. We appreciate it, guys. I mean, seriously.
Because trust me, I never watched ZZW until Mr. Lane over here got me into it. I never got into
PC one
the
time.
Tournament of Death, the Cage of Death. None of this.
I have him hooked on
And
Cage of Death now.
I love me a good death match. I love me a good one.
Hi,
I used to watch them I used to watch them all the time in Horror Slam Wrestling in Michigan before we moved here. There was a wrestler, and I mentioned him not too long ago. Chuck Stein. He is the dirty white boy Chuck Stein. He took a spot where he put fucking needles in his neck. That's how much of a deathmatch wrestler he is.
I will agree. GCW does have the best death matches because they have the best people for death matches ever since Matt Tremont retired last year.
Exactly.
In there, I said it. I said something that no other wrestling fan will say. They have Nick Gage. That's great. And it's Nick Gage. They have Nick Gage. That's terrific. They have access to all the guys that won't wrestle for CZW and some that will wrestle for CZW. So that means, hey, we're sharing wrestlers. That's great. It's perfect. But I mean, being real here for a minute, I would there is no I wouldn't be a CZW fan if I didn't want to see Danny Havoc back in CZW. Not Danny Havoc. Nick Gage back in CZW. I mean, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be right. I mean,
by the way, you need to tell me which ones the Nick Gage's death matches are because I want to watch Nick Gage in real action in ZZW.
Nick Gage back then was amazing.
You need to tell me which one he did death matches in, so I know which pay-per-view or which show I'm watching.
His second tournament of death ever. This man right here. I told him to watch 2014, aka Dildo Ladder.
And
so imagine facing Court with Love. Got it.
And I wasn't and to be honest, I will say this now. I will say this. I liked 2007 more than 2014.
Okay.
But that's just my opinion. There could be different ways to think about it.
The H8 Club. Don't know that one.
That's called Hate Club.
Let's see here.
Nick Gage versus Nate Hatred.
Ooh, okay.
Which show is that? Is that on ZZW?
I'm sure Tony will tell you.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
Because between Tony and Rivera are two deathmatch connoisseurs that we can have that would be perfect. I mean, we're set once we have them.
But we can put them in our research group that we have going.
It's up to Tony if he's down for it.
I'll say we have a literal research video chat for that.
Way back. What year so I know what I'm looking at?
Hey, are we talking about pre-Masada's run in Tournament of Death?
Do you remember what one that is? Because I might watch that after I'm done watching the one I'm watching now. I just had to pause it to do this with these guys because I was interested to do it with them. Shit, I might watch that one next if you show it up.
I know Masato ran a 3-year in a row winning streak in Tournament of Death, aka Deathmatch Jesus.
Oh, me too. I just don't have my pen on me to smoke right now to get high. It's in the other room, which I might go and get in a little bit to smoke me some weed and get high.
Yeah, because you got high. Just like everybody asked you to compete in a Tournament of Death. I mean, seriously, come on.
You can't be sober doing it.
No, you cannot. I mean, you have to go. Like, you only have a short time window. Danny Havoc had the longest cool-off period because he had to go wait through 5 other matches. Like, he had to wait for 5 matches to go by. So he could wait and get his stuff stitched up and everything, so he's good. Which is good. I mean, not gonna lie. But it's just really, it just confuses you, when you see Necro Butcher has to compete 1 match after he won his match. Which means he literally was competing for a while. So I will say this, though. Out of all of this one had a very, very stacked card.
Very stacked. More stacked than Moist TV with John Morstan.
And I will say this. I may have seen Brain Damage in CZW before. I may have watched one of his stuff, and I wasn't a fan. After watching his match with Toby Klein, I was a fan of both of them. Only because Toby Klein did something. Oh, I agree completely. Oh, it wasn't Toby Klein. It was okay. I will give respect to Scotty Vortex.
Yeah.
You know why? It was a light tube log cabin. There's a spot where that one was off to this log cabin was off to the side. No big deal. But Danny Havoc was on the side next to it. Like to the right of it. And Scotty leaped over it. Scotty leaped over it and missed the log cabin completely, but landed on his back on the gold ground. No padding whatsoever. I would give respect to Scotty for that. Well, I can only imagine.
That could break someone's back if it was on concrete cold.
Oh, it wasn't concrete. It was just on dirt ground.
Yeah, but I'm saying if they had it on like a concrete ground, that would be breaking someone's back.
Oh, it would be. Yes, definitely. But the Brain Damage and Toby Klein, they put on one hell of a clinic.
Oh, one hell of a show.
I mean, I don't care. That is my pick. If you can show me one match, if you can show me one match, and you can quote me throughout the rest of this series when we're doing this, if you can show me one match that will outdo Brain Damage versus Toby Klein in an opening round, I will applaud you. But in my opinion, I haven't
seen anything.
And I am giving you, here's my criteria for it. The way they did that match, and that means the spots. The spots are perfect for that match. The story and the people in it. Toby wasn't really, in my opinion, as coming from an outside fan, I didn't know much about it in Brain Damage. Like, I heard things about Brain Damage, but I didn't really, know. So I just watched, and by the end of it, I was a huge Brain Damage fan. I'm like, okay, this guy can move for a guy who is big. He's a tall guy, and he's not big. He's not big. You know what I mean? But he is a bigger guy, taller guy. And Brain Damage moves for his size. And it's flat out amazing.
Oh, yeah. I give him the cruiserweight level moving type with his size.
Okay. I will agree with that.
He's fast. He's quick, and I'm not saying he like does jumps out of the ring like a cruiserweight would, or like someone his size would, like I've seen in the past with other wrestlers or superstars. But he has that potential to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Brain Damage, rest his soul, was great at what he did. And he could not, obviously could not do like the Nick Gages or the Danny Havocs. But he went out there and he did what he had to put on a show. And then you got Necro Butcher, who is an absolute legend in the deathmatch game. Hey, Brookie.
Yes.
Can you pull up can you take it off the screen for me real quick?
Yep.
Pull up a picture of Necro Butcher.
Okay, give me a minute.
For anyone new who doesn't know Necro Butcher,
is that fool still alive too, or is he dead too?
No, surprisingly, he's still alive.
Wait, surprisingly.
He looks like an older version of Court.
He is an old... Wait, that's Court's father.
I'm dead.
Court, we found your daddy.
I thought his dad and God damn, who else? Bodie. Sin
Bodie.
Yeah, so basically, Court.
Sin Bodie and Necro Butcher help make Corton. Yes. But yes, this is Necro Butcher, guys. And that's the stuff that he would do in case you are new to Necro Butcher. And I mean, Necro Butcher is one of the faithful who actually left CZW, and I don't think he has come back. So, in retrospect, when Nick Gage and them left because Zandig left, or there's a big dispute for some reason, we'll get into that later. You know, whenever we go into more of the deep diver stuff. But it was absolutely. But what was I gonna say?
I have no idea.
I lost my train of thought. Lost my train of thought there for a second. Hey Tyler, what was your? I want to get your thoughts real quick on for Tournament Death 2007, best match of the night.
I actually had that written down my notes. Let me go. I think it was, if I could try to remember, it was the main event, the ending with Brain Damage and Danny Havoc. Or Drake, actually. Excuse me, Drake. Drake Younger.
Really?
I think it was between that one and then there was another one.
So there's Drake Young. So the finals, okay.
It was that finals? One.
Hey, Brookie, who was in the finals? Can you pull that up real quick?
Yeah, give him a quickie. Wow. There we go. The finals: Drake Young versus Brain Damage.
Wait, it was Brain Damage? Oh, yes, it was. Okay, Drake Younger versus Brain Damage.
Yeah, I think that one was the match of the night by far, to be honest.
Okay.
200 light tubes lumberjack death match.
200 light tubes and lumber. Oh God, that had to be painful.
Oh, I loved it, dude. It was good.
I can only imagine what Zandig did to get those light tubes. And just so you guys know, I don't think we'll be covering Tournament of Death. Fast forward, scroll down to that one real quick, Brookie. Just that way they can see that. To fast forward. This was the other one in 2007 that took place, guys. So Brain Damage didn't end up winning that one. If you want to scroll on down real quick, so we can see, so they can see it. It's a mini Tournament of Death. Brain Damage ended up winning an Ultraviolent Underground title match. And it's an Ultraviolent Thumbtack. It's a Thumbtack Fire and Ultraviolent Staple Gun death match.
Again, another match that our favorite crowd would probably love doing.
Shit, I might just watch that just to watch it. Fuck.
That's called Tournament of Death Fast Forward. So that one is just a quick mini Tournament of Death that they did in 2007 that made no sense. That is the only one where Brain Damage won, and I think that was his last. I don't know if he did more appearances later on for CZW. But God rest his soul.
I might just watch that one in a little bit. If it's just all death matches, fuck it, I'll watch that shit.
But I will say, I called dibs on the account because I want to watch Deathmatch Jesus.
Okay, I gotta make sure I have my shit written down that I got it on too.
Could you make it like a schedule or to call so people in a group chat that is our turn to using it?
Why make a schedule whenever we can just say what we got who has the account? It's
That's
simple.
what I mean.
31704.
Okay. At least you got that pulled up. At least you got it written down then. Well, like we said, guys, I mean, it's just, I mean, there is so much to cover with CZW. I mean,
we'll be here for hours doing it, dude.
I mean, we would be. I mean, seriously, but I want to make it into a watchable series where everybody could sit down and just watch. This is the opening that we could call this episode 0. How about that? Not episode 1, episode 0. Because, you know, everything has to start with a ground zero.
Yep.
This is our ground zero. Tournament of Death 2007 is our origin point. So that is where our origin point will be in whichever direction we go to. It really doesn't matter because we'll still be covering CZW, but we'll also be talking about other deathmatch stuff as we expand out our horizon.
Yes. Because
but just so you guys know, there is one match we didn't talk about. The opening contest match was between Team Andrew and Team Black and Blackout, one of the greatest tag teams in CZW history. And I'm not saying Andrew, but Andrew is Drew Gulak and who else, Brookie? It's Andy. It's Andy something.
I think it's Andy Summers.
Andy Summers and Drew Gulak.
Yes.
Yes, Drew Gulak did wrestle for CZW.
He wrestled later on in the night for the tag titles against those guys, I thought, didn't he?
No, that's
with Sergi or whatever the fuck that dude's name is.
That was that night. That was that same night. That was that contest that they opened up in. It was Blackout versus Andrew for the tag titles. Blackout was Ruckus and Sabian. Ruckus, oh my lord. I mean, highly impressed with that, man.
There's one move it was a submission move that someone did. It was interesting how I don't know how to describe it, but he kind of caught him and kind of did like a scissor hold on Gulak. And
I think, was it the big man with the bandana or was it the smaller one?
I think it was the smaller one.
Then that's Sabian.
Yeah.
Ruckus is the big man with the bandana. That's how you recognize Ruckus.
All right.
He looked like he gave me Tupac vibes.
I will tell you, he does. I mean, the dude is bald. He wears a bandana. The man's African American, and that's not stereotyping
all right, Derek,
at all.
We'll see you. We'll see you a little bit.
Like, that's not stereotyping at all, folks. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's but I'm just saying, like, that's the only way to describe Ruckus. Ruckus he impressed me highly. He opened Tournament of Death 2 times that I have seen. He opened 2014, I think. I don't know. No, it wasn't 2014. It was another one I watched. He opened 2007, and there's another one where he opened with Blackout, and I was impressed with that. No, it was Cage of Death 2011.
That's what you're thinking of. Yeah, I was wondering why.
Yes.
I knew it was something. I was like, wait a minute.
I was impressed because of some high flying stuff he did in 2011.
And that spot where he put Kimberly through the table.
Oh, that was satisfying. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, there's nothing more satisfying than watching a woman go through a table.
Of course.
Thank you, Bully Ray.
Of course.
I mean, Ruckus made it popular. Bully Ray.
All right, let me just message Bar and let him know for me to put you through a table in OWA's match tonight in the next couple days.
I've already been through 3 tables against Fox, all right?
I'm just saying there's nothing more satisfying than watching a woman who deserves to be put through a table.
Brooke.
Namely, Dixie Carter.
Brooke.
Kimberly. And Brooke.
Oh,
exactly.
Oh. I hate you.
The top 3 right there.
Let me make sure. Let me text Bar and make sure I have a little spot with putting her through a table.
How you do it? I mean, seriously, guys. Like, this is ground zero. This is episode 0. I know I said episode 1 in my post as on my Oliver Titan account. You know, as the name I'm using right now. You see, like,
yeah,
that one right here. It's in the corner. It's somewhere right here. You know, like right in the corner here.
Oh, Rivera.
Yes, Juan is my hookup for anything deathmatch related. He knows anything, and he's going to be my well as you speak, because this is going to be my ground zero. This is going to be our ground zero. We lay our roots down, and we will be talking more, and we will be going, and there's going to be more in-depth approach going into this, because next week, we are going to be talking about Tournament of Death 2018. Because we actually will have somebody.
Speak of the devil himself.
Yes, yes, but might as well just call him the devil. Wait a minute. If the devil was a dumbass. I mean, come on. Is that what you're like, seriously, you're going to call him the devil, but you know he's a dumbass. But you're going to have...
He beat you in your
Wait a minute. Shut up. Let me finish. Okay? We are going to have my best friend on the podcast next week for episode number 1, Tournament of Death 2018. See, even he agrees with me. He's used to it by now. He knows he's a moron, but he's my moron. So he's not going anywhere as a friend. He's mine. So it's like, but here we go. But seriously, guys, we're going to be talking about Tournament of Death 2018. We're going to have my best friend, Court, on here. He was at both 2018 and 2019. We're doing 2018 first, not because chronological order. No, if it was my way, I'd be doing 2019 first because one of my favorites won 2019. But no, he has a story about 2018 that impacted the Tournament of Death outcome for 2019. So, Dummy insisted that we do 2018 first, so we're doing 2018 first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Tournament of Death 2018 is going to be for episode number 1. This is just going to be ground zero. Because I am looking forward to, as we dive into this
Card.
series, and as we dive in further into all of these death matches that
there's
lie
so
before
many
us.
There's like so many different people that we all know in EFES that are in death matches. Like,
I mean, seriously, like a lot of them probably took inspiration. I guarantee you, the common one will be, I took inspiration from Nick Gage or Danny Havoc. But I love Tony's. His was Sick Nick Mondo, a name you don't hear very often. I mean, I want somebody to say Onita. I'm waiting for somebody to say Onita. But guess what? Nobody's going to say Onita. You guys don't know why. Everybody loves the Americans. Nobody loves the Japanese. Yeah, y'all still hooked up on World War II.
oh God, here we go.
I mean, seriously, get over it. Like, seriously, cry me a river, build me a bridge. Y'all watch anime, don't you?
Oh God. Are we really going with this debate now?
So if you watch anime, show the Japanese deathmatch wrestlers some love. You freaking weebs.
Yeah, this is the last shoot of the night.
No, I just wanted to say that.
Oh, by the way, you pop Court. You pop the clown.
I had to. So you could say, pop goes the weasel.
Are you talking about popping his head off, like doing it that way, or?
I don't know, however he wants to do it. But like I said, though, guys, I mean, like, everybody has their inspiration, but I want to, like, if you are a deathmatch fan, I want y'all to come and watch this series. Because I don't care where you share the crud out of this series. Because I want to get more interaction like we had tonight with Tony, like we had with everybody in the comments. I want to get more people interaction where we can talk, and we can talk about the topic of the night. This is ground zero. And I promise you, episode 1 will be more organized because we will know what we're talking about. And I will have more story to go along with it. So the first research project for me and the research crew is looking for stuff before 2018 that pertains to everybody. So guess what? Everybody in the research crew is going to be getting a little bitty task. So, but seriously, guys, next week, make sure you tune in. I know we didn't talk about much this time. We technically did talk about a lot.
Yeah, but I want to talk about that before we go off. I want to talk about Zandig's little cut they had.
Talk about it, please do. Like, and I will tell you,
after the match, there was a spot.
But I will say though, they had not shown in the difference between Zandig and during this time, everybody was saying that wrestling was fake because of the John Cena's, the Dave Batistas, you know, everybody. Here's how Zandig retaliated. They were distributing these DVDs. And in these DVDs, he made sure his cameramen filmed not just like after shots. No. Zandig, he was an evil genius. They had literally just a water hose. You could tell it was just a water hose. And Tyler can vouch for me on this. They had a water hose just rinsing these guys off with blood that stained their back and their heads.
And they screamed like a bitch. To say it now, like it with the water hitting them, hurt like a bitch.
Because that's cold water hitting a very warm body.
Oh yeah.
And you are hitting an open wound, and that water, if it was warm water acts, anything hot hitting a wound will act like a sterilizer. That's why whenever I get a cut on my finger, first thing I do is I run it under hot water. Because anything hot, and I've learned, and if you've watched Saw, you know this too. Because at the end of the series, Dr. Lawrence Gordon, the guy who had chop off his foot in the first movie, the way that he got out of there, the way he got out after he got out of there, he actually put his foot on a red hot pipe to make sure the wound stopped bleeding from where he cut his foot off. That's how you clot the blood. That's how you make sure it stops bleeding. So, but that's how you get a wound to stop bleeding. It's not very healthy, but it's better than making a tourniquet and bleeding out everywhere. But the water, though, it just sterilizes it. That's what they did. They did have medical personnel there to make sure everybody got the right attention. So do not freak out.
Yeah.
On us. I promise you, it wasn't just some random kid going, let's play with water.
Anyways, this was in the Zandig versus Necro Butcher match because Necro Butcher came out in the beginning because it was supposed to be Necro Butcher versus a mystery opponent.
It was supposed to be Mitch Ryder. But Mitch Ryder couldn't make it due to travel issues.
Yep. But after that, they've changed it to a mystery opponent, and Necro Butcher called out Zandig. It was a good 15, 20-minute match. With all of it going in. At the end of that, Mr. Zandig had sprayed off his head, and half of his fucking skin on his bald-ass head was moving around while they were trying to stitch that bitch up. I had to do this a couple times. I mean, I was right. I loved seeing it because I was like, yep.
It's one of those moments.
This is how to tell those fucking stupid ass people that say wrestling's fake. This is the way to do it.
Like this.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the way to do it. Showing them something like 2007's Death Match Tournament.
Tournament of
like,
Death.
Oh, you know wrestling's fake, right? You know wrestling's fake, right?
They literally went back and they showed you after the matches. They showed you replays of the most hardcore parts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they showed you where each wrestler got injured in those matches. And then afterwards, they will show you the injuries that these wrestlers suffered. And I'm like, oh my God, I am more appreciative of these guys
hanging
now.
Off. How is that fake, you dumbass motherfuckers? Skin moving on the top of someone's forehead after getting hit with some barbed wire or getting hit with the chair or something with a light tube. How is that fake?
I will agree. So I will say this, though. I mean, like we said, we have a lot more ground to move from. But we had to introduce them to CZW. There is two opposing forces, guys, just so you know, in CZW. There is the Zandig era, and there is the DJ Hyde era. The era that we're going to we introduced you to the John Zandig era of things. Ultra-violent, gory as all get out. And it's amazing. You have classic names on the card. Okay. That's great. Amazing. You have veterans on the card. Amazing. And you have new guys, up-and-comers at the time, named Danny Havoc on the card. Cutting his teeth in the deathmatch scene. That's amazing. It's wonderful. And then you will see next week, whenever we talk about it, Tournament Death 2018, you will see the difference in those levels. Because 2018, we're diving deep into the DJ Hyde era.
I wish that Regus Wi-Fi works for this StreamYard so we can hear his opinion.
Oh, trust me, he'll send us a long, angry text about it and about DJ Hyde. Trust me, he will do it. And Juan will do it too.
I will say this now. To the people, I'm going back to my spot where people say that wrestling is fake. I will go back to this.
Oh God, I'm gonna be worried.
If someone goes to you and says when you're watching Raw, SmackDown, AEW, Ring of Honor, NJPW, some of the other Japanese wrestling that's out there today, they tell you that it's fake.
Noah, AJPW.
Go to Japanese death matches. Tell them go to Japanese death matches, or tell them to subscribe to the ZZW Studios page and look up 2007 Death Tournament.
I was about to say, like, if you guys have any, if you guys ever want to do a rookie, type like a scroller for me real quick. czwstudios.com. Like, that needs to be like a constant scroller at the bottom.
Maybe figure out how to remake.
She needs to remember to do it. Her tiny brain probably will forget every time we do these every week.
Oof.
You remember this one, Lane?
Yes.
Oh God, that was good.
Tyler, you got a case of the interns.
Oh, it's either I get muted or I get removed for picking on her.
You don't get the joke. You don't get.
Like we said, guys. But seriously, czwstudios.com if you want to watch this stuff. Like I said, me and the crew have an account. No, I will not be giving you the info if you are not a member of the Tits and Bits crew. If you are a member, I will give you that info. But this stuff, you don't want to miss it. And if you guys see, that is the app. That is a place right there. CZW
How much does it cost though, too? Because of course it has a cost.
It costs. Oh, it costs $9.99 a month. Plain simple. That's all it costs. $9.99 a month to subscribe. And it just doesn't come with CZW.
No.
You are supporting indie wrestling. Like, you could not, like, there are tons of indie wrestling shows that are on CZW Studios that you can watch. Like, I can't list them, but I mean, they're on there. I mean, they're there, and you can sit there and you can watch indie wrestling if you want to. If you want to watch hardcore wrestling, watch, I mean, like, go ahead.
ECW's on there, actually.
Like, a couple ECW stuff, but not much. But I don't think the mass transit incident is on there. If you know that one, we'll deep dive into that one a little later. As to why you do not make a deathmatch wrestler mad.
Oh, no. Including DJ Hyde when he was doing the fucking deathmatch.
The New Jack.
Fuck him.
Wait, wait, have you heard about New Jack? But guys, seriously though, I thank you guys for watching. And I do hope you guys tune in to episode number 1, where we talk about CZW's Tournament of Death 2018, where we will have my best friend Court on with us to talk about this and what it was like to be at and I will tell you, you saw Tournament of Death 2007, Tyler. But once you watch 2018, there's a difference, though, between Zandig and DJ. Zandig had it in a suburban area. Hyde has it in the middle of a farmland. So I will tell you, his Tournament of Deaths are infamous, and they are ragers. When I say ragers, Court can actually tell you I am not lying. It was a total beer fest. Like, if you want to see drunk fans galore, just go to a Tournament of Death, and you will see why wrestling fans are probably the greatest people on earth, and why the wrestling scene, if you are at a wrestling show, an indie wrestling show, you will see why the air is so electric. Like, I don't care if it's a big time event. You go anywhere, the air is electric at a wrestling show. You can just tell by where you're at that the air changes whenever it comes to showtime. Like, you could sit there in the seats all night long, all you want to, and it wouldn't make a bit of difference as to what you're doing. But whenever it comes down bell time, it's time because guess what? You can feel the electricity in the air. You can feel the hairs on your neck standing up. So guess what? It's time for us to close curtains for the night. But I want you all right here next week when we ring our bell. So make sure you sit in those seats like you did tonight. So you guys can sit and watch and listen as me and hopefully more of my panel talk about CZW's Tournament of Death from 2018, where you will learn about more names that have made an impact on today's deathmatch scene.
Mm-hmm.
So, from the Tits and Bits crew, I'm Oliver Titan. He's Tyler. That's Brookie. We thank you all, and we bid you all a
No,
good
it's
night.
let me fix that. It's Tiny Brain Brookie. Get right.
That is true. And make sure you guys subscribe to czwstudios.com if you guys want to watch along and get really updated and stuff where you guys can fill in and actually interact with us. You know, and tell us what your favorite parts of that show were. I mean, seriously. We want to hear what you guys liked about the show. We want to have interaction with the comment section. We don't want to just have like a little, where I talk with these two. I mean, let's be honest. I talk with Brooke Fernar, it's going to get really boring. I will be honest. There will be insults. Just like that. That will happen half the podcast if we talk for an hour.
No, I think you and I will be more of the brains than Brooke would.
Yep, pretty much. See, I got to lose that one. Like we said, though, guys, we thank you guys for watching. And if you guys want to make sure subscribe to czwstudios.com.
And you can be able to talk with us on our next podcast.
Hey, Brooke, did you change the YouTube page, your YouTube page name?
No, it's still my main name, but I could I can make a new account.
Jesus Christ. Give me your fucking shit. I'll change it for you.
Okay, guys. Seriously, find us on YouTube to watch the replay.
And also on my Insider page as well.
Yes. Brooke Phillips. That is the YouTube account that you guys will be looking for on YouTube to catch up and watch every episode of this podcast as it drops. Well, it's not really a podcast. It's a video cast. It's basically a video diary series of literally just three mindless idiots talking about wrestling that they love.
It's going to be 4.
Yes, it's going to be 4 next week as my mindless best friend joins us. So please subscribe, watch Tournament of Death 2018, and show CZW some love.
Oh, as a warning, you might be wearing his clown mask. So if you're afraid of clowns.
Yes. So everybody, we thank you for watching, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys 1 meter from ground zero.